In this video, we're going to continue our discussion on how to read advanced chord symbols, and we're applying our knowledge that we've learned over the last 3 videos to the tune "Oh Christmas Tree," because, you know, it's Christmas season. And just like any other standard, these chords apply to that song and any other song that you're thinking of. And that's the whole point of chord symbols, is to be able to interpret them for any specific tune. Now, we're talking about "Oh Christmas Tree," and what I have here is a sheet that has the chord symbol and it has chords written out. So the notes below are interpretations of the chord symbol that's written above. So in our last video, we completed our discussion on how to read chord symbols. Now we know that the letter that comes first is the root of the chord. The next number is either a major seventh or a minor seventh. And the next numbers after that are the extensions, 9, 11, and 13, and whether that's flat 9, sharp 11, flat 13, or like alterations to those extensions. So we're going to look at the tune now, and we're going to see how to apply those chord symbols to the specific song. So let's go from the first chord of the actual first of the bar. This one we're going to leave for now because it's a little bit of an oddball. And I'm not exactly sure whether it was correctly transcribed from the original by Vince Guaraldi, but we're not going to discuss that at this moment. But let's just take the F chord. Now, the reason why it's a straight F and not a seventh is because if you look at the chord itself, all it contains is the root, the third, and the fifth. This being the third, and this being the root, and this being the fifth. Okay, so that one's pretty simple. Then when we get to the G minor 7th chord, you've got 1 and 5 in the left hand, 3 and 7 in the right. And this is a minor 7th. So if you looked at the exercise that we did in the last couple of videos, we've got this G minor 7th chord right here. All we're doing is putting that note in the bass, and those other notes in the right hand, because that's the melody note, is the 7th. Now, that's a good voicing for that, because when you put 1 and 5 in the left and 3 and 7 in the right, it separates all the notes and creates an interesting sound. It anchors it and also gives it a nice sound. Now, the A minor 7 is essentially the same, except it has the root in the melody. Now, it's written A minor 7th because when you interpret that chord any other way without the melody note, you would put the 7th in there. So if you're comping behind musicians, it would be something like, and you would try to catch all the notes that are available in a minor 7th chord. But because the melody is there, essentially the 7th is not in there, because it would be like this. Or could be down there, but it's a little too much, right? So it's just 1 and 5 and 3 and 1. Then the next chord is a D7 flat 9. So this is interesting because the flat 9 is something that appears in front of minor 7th chords. So if you're resolving to, say, 2 minor in this case, because G minor 7th is 2 minor in the key of F, right? F is 1, G is 2, G minor 7. So if you're going to put a dominant chord in front of that, is a D7 chord, but it also has flat 9, because it falls to become the 5th of the next chord. And there's a bunch of reasons for that. We're not going to talk about them here, but what we did do is we put the 3rd of the chord in the bass, and then we put the 7th, the flat 9, and we have the 5th in the melody. Nice sound. Then when we move on to the G minor 7th chord, you'll see that you've got 1, 3, 5, and 7 of G minor, and then also the melody note, which is the root. So it's just G minor 7 in root position with the melody note. And then when we've got E minor 7 flat 5, we've got 1 and 5 in the left. And then we've got the 7th and the 5th, which is the flat 5. So that's the same formula as the G minor 7th chord we had over here. Grab red. So the G minor 7th chord that we had here, it has 1 and 5 in the left, 3 and 7 in the right, and that's what this chord, the E minor 7 flat 5, has. Now, we've had this voicing for the F chord before. You can just have to look at it up there. Then we have B flat minor over C. Now, we haven't had anything like this before. What this means is it's a B flat minor triad over a different bass note. That's what that symbol means. So it's B flat minor triad over C, which is what you'll see in the actual voicing itself. You've got the C down here, and then you've got your B flat minor triad here with just an octave. And then we're just repeating. Now this is a little bit different than the first time around because this chord is what we call a half passing chord. It's like a passing chord that's a half step above D minor 7. So it's just this, if you'll see in the bass, it's 3 and 7 falling to 3 and 7 of D7. So again, 3 and 7. Cool sound. So that's a good exercise because writing the chords out like this is essentially a good way to learn interesting voicings for those specific chord symbols. I've written the chord symbols specifically to denote what's written in the left hand. So if you see chord symbols like this in other tunes, you can literally take these same voicings and apply them to those tunes as well. So the whole goal of this music and interpreting chord symbols is to be able to play the chords without jumping all over the place. For example, if we went from and you're jumping like all over the place, the goal is to keep the hands close together and keep moving in tandem. Not a lot of jumping around. And that's the whole point of interpreting chord symbols and understanding what to choose when you're picking notes to play in those specific chords. Okay, if you have any questions or comments about this, please post them below. And let me finish off today by playing the entire composition and arrangement for O Christmas Tree. And you might want to think about Charlie Brown's Christmas when you hear this. It's literally the Vince Guaraldi version. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments about this specific tutorial or the few that came before this one in reading advanced chord symbols, please let me know in the comments below. And if you're unclear about anything, just ask the question and I'll be sure to answer it for you. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome. Let me play the tune for you and we'll see you in the next video.